What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade coming to y'all with that award prediction analysis live on the Analysis Playground. Of course, it's going to be on YouTube exclusively. And man, do I have a lot to talk about still, even though there's no games on today, preseason wise and regular season wise. But let's talk about this scoring champion. This is ship. This is something that a lot of people love. They want to be known as the best scorer in the NBA, but they don't realize how hard it is to get it because you do have to pass a certain threshold of games to win it, and you do have to dominate majority of your games, which most teams, once they see how tough and how hard it is to be the scoring champion, they realize the defense is what makes it tough because of the double teams, because of the traps, trying to force the ball out your hands, trying to force you to make a pass instead of scoring. But it's been a couple guys that have been consistent at dominating the game of basketball. I'm going to go through the people that I feel will be in a conversation to win the award. And then I'm going to tell you who I pick to be able to get it done and be the scoring champion for the 2025-2026 NBA season. One of the first one is going to be Giannis Antetokounmpo. Of course, you have to put him in there because he's going to be the lone star on that roster. You know, he can get 30 each and every game or close to it or even more than that. And he has been a guy that was able to win this award before, I think. And it won't be surprising to see him dominate because that's the type of style of play that he knows and he's used to. Plus, he wants to win and he knows the part that he has to play to be able to do it. The man basically won every major award that you can probably win in the NBA. And that shows you how great his career has been and how great he has played throughout his years in Milwaukee and throughout his years in the NBA. But I think that this is no different this year. He's going to be older, but he can use the same attacks and the same style to put up the same type of numbers to help the Bucks be able to win. And that means you're going to have to get 30. You don't have, the Middleton. You don't have the Drew. You don't have the Dame. It's going to be more on you. And since that's going to be the case, I think Giannis is going to look at it coming into the season like, I know what I have to do. I know how I have to play. Doc Rivers going to say the same thing in his ear. Now, we need you to lead. We need you to be the best player on the court each and every night to the best of your ability. That's what we expect you to be. That's what we expect you to do. And Giannis seems like he's not going to run or be scared of it. He's going to take it right on the chin for good or bad and live with the results. And that's what the great players do. That's what the legends do. That's how it goes. And I think Giannis will have another great MVP / dominating type of season under his belt again this year, especially if he's able to stay healthy. And last year when he averaged 30, he did pass the 65 game mark. And I think he should be able to do that again. They're going to need him to if he's going to help lead this team to the playoffs as the best players usually do. Another player you got to put in this conversation is Anthony Edwards. You know, the team is lacking a little bit offensively, so somebody's going to have to pick it up. And most people say he's been working on this game. He's been working hard. I don't doubt it because you don't get improvements each and every year if you're not. And I see the numbers. I see the results. I see the success in the playoffs. I see his confidence. I see the way he walked. I see the way he talked. And that's a goofy way of saying that he's going to ball out. And I'm not going to be surprised that his numbers when it comes to scoring goes up because somebody is going to have to carry this team in certain situations and in the fourth quarter. And I don't see why they'd be scared to say, here, let's get the ball to the best player we got and let him decide our fate, whether we win or lose some of these games. And at least he wants those opportunities. He wants those moments. We've seen that in high school. We've seen that in college. And we have continued to see it in the NBA. It's been a little bit up and down, though. Sometimes he does it. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he does. And that can be frustrating if you're a Minnesota fan. But he's so young that he has to grow and mature and become that because he has the characteristic, he has the mentality, he has the feel, and he has the understanding of how to get it done and how to do things, the right way. And he's still learning how to play winning basketball at a high level, which isn't easy, especially because the business side of the game can be ugly and it can take a lot from you. But he's showing you that he has the moves and he has the ideology of what needs to happen for him to get to his best play. And based off what I'm seeing in preseason, based off what I'm hearing from him, he's going to attack this season a little different. He's going to get his a little differently than he normally does. And that should help him be comfortably scoring above 27 or more a game, just like he did last year. And if he does that, that will put him in the conversation to be a scoring champion this year, something that he hasn't achieved yet in his career. Another player you have to put in this conversation would be Nikola Jokic. He going to have the ball in his hands a ton. Whether he wants to score or pass is always his decision. He can bend defenses to his advantage, and whatever he feels is right, he can put them at his mercy. That's how great Jokic has become the last 6 to 7 years, and that's why they was a championship team, because it's basically unstoppable with him and Murray and good supporting casts when it comes to players around them. So I don't think Jokic numbers are going to go down. I think they're going to be around the same, even if they got deeper, because the more weapons you have, the more freedom you have. The more freedom you have, the more choices you have. The more choices you have, the more opportunity you can have to be able to dominate the game your way. So I think Jokic has showed that he can pass just as good as he can score. He can score just as good as he can pass. And like I said, every year is different. You might need a couple more points this year. You might just need to stay around what you were or close to it to still be eligible to win this award. But I just feel like, Jokic will be in the conversation. And as long as you're in the conversation, you play enough games, you just never know if you'll be able to win it until the season is over. Another person I want to put in this conversation based off what I'm saying is in preseason and, just in general, is Jalen Brunson. They give that man the ball so much. And he just had 31 in preseason yesterday, showing you that he's still going to score. He's still going to have chances to do it. They still going to allow him to have the ball in the fourth quarter to help them close out games. Because let's be honest about it, Jalen Brunson is basically unguardable. He's basically unstoppable on the offensive end. And I think that won't change this year. I think that he's going to, be having a lot of chances to put the ball in the basket. And that's all you really need to do to be able to be eligible to win this award, because he played 65 games, which would put him in the conversation to be eligible to win it if he scores a lot of points, which he has been doing his last couple seasons in New York, where they unleashed him and allowed him to be himself and play the game the way he knows best. And I think Mike Brown going to see all that talent and say, we need you to do some similar thing that you did last year. Let me just help you do it my way. And he's coachable, and he's a guy that's a sponge for the game of basketball. And maybe, Mike Brown can find out some other ways to use him and some other ways to help him. And as long as he's efficient and as long as he's putting in the ball in the basket, he'll be fine. Another guy I wanted to mention was Devin Booker. This man can get you 27 or more. And I think this is going to be a team where they're going to put the ball in his hands a lot. And all he has to do is continue to be aggressive and look for it. And he's going to be facilitating too, because they're going to double team. They're going to trap him. They're going to find ways to get the ball out of his hand. He just has to make the right decision. But sometimes the right decision is going to be scoring. And we know Devin Booker can score with the best of them. We know that if you give him an opportunity, he can put up, some big numbers. He already has done that throughout his career. Even when he's younger, he's more seasoned, he's more smarter, and he is a guy that we respect as one of the better scorers in the league as hoopers and as fans. So he's definitely going to be in that conversation too. And one of the last guys I want to mention is Steph Curry. He won it before. This is going to be a year where he feels like I have to carry this team a little bit more, because our offense might be not what it needs to be unless I'm aggressive, trying to find a way to attack early and often or play within the system to score my points. But we know threes count more than twos, and he's going to be one of the guys that's going to shoot the most threes in the season, and he's going to shoot a bunch of free throws, and he's going to get to the basket, and he's going to make some mid-range, and he's going to get out in transition. And he's always one of those guys that if he plays the minutes, which he did last year, and he stays healthy, he can light you up still to this day. So you have to mention him for that reason. And the last person who I think is going to win it is the guy that was able to go out there and average 30 for the last 3 seasons prior to this one. And that's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The man has become unstoppable. You have to pick your venom with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because the mid range is deadly. The ability to get to the rim is great. You know, he's 100% almost at the free throw line, one of the best free throw shooters in the game. And you know, he's been working on that three. If you sag off too much, I'm letting that three fly. If you go under that screen, I'm letting that three fly. But if you come up, I'm going to go right past you, hit a mid-range or a layup or get to the free throw line. It's moves in the way that the game is played that you just can't stop. All you can do is try to make it hard. All you can do is try to make it difficult. But his ability to create separation, his ability to create space is what makes him so tough. And he's one of those players where he'll clear out one side of the court so you can't catch him by surprise, or you can't help too much because you'll leave one of his teammates open, which allows him to go one-on-one. And you know what happens if you go one-on-one with Shai is basically a bucket. So I don't really see much changing. If you thought that you can stop him, if you thought you can slow him down, you would have been did it. Nobody has been able to do it the last previous seasons. And it just shows you that even if they do, I'm willing to put in the work footage-wise. I'm willing to put in the work with my coaches to have a counter if they try to do it again. That's what the best ones and the great ones do. They're already prepared. They're already ready. They know what they have to do. They know what the defense is trying to do. So that's why they have to break it. You know, we have to break their mentality. We have to break their spirit. We have to break their will to be able to get our way. And Shai has been the best at doing that the last couple years. And of course, you can put Luka Doncic in there, but I think having Austin Reeves and LeBron James, that's going to take some ball handling duty from him. That's going to take some shots away from him. So I just don't think that he's going to be able to win it for that reason. Maybe next year when LeBron is not on the team, they're going to put the ball in his hands more. They're going to allow him to do more. And that means he's definitely going to score more. So he's a guy that has won it before. He's a guy that dominates the game too. But I just feel like the way the Lakers are currently constructed, it just messes up with the flow of him having the ball and the opportunities more than some of these other guys who are the main focal point of the offense and the main focal point of the team. And I just feel like Shai has done it consistently. Luka has to stay healthy and he has to share the ball. I just don't think that that's going to be a situation where he can score more than Shai this year. Although you can say, well, Shai team got better. Chet probably going to get better. Jalen Williams dealing with a wrist injury that actually might benefit Shai numbers too, if you look at it that way, because they might not be ready to dominate right away when the season starts or even the first couple months. And then Shai just got to stay around that average the entire year to be able to win it and walk away home with it again in back-to-back seasons, which I am predicting that he should be able to do. But I think the biggest threats for the scoring title for Shai would be Luka and Giannis and probably Jokic and Anthony Edwards. If I had to pick a big, combination of guys, those would be the guys that would make the most run for it to be able to overtake them for repeating as the scoring title winner. And I think Shai would be happy to add that to his resume. And I think he'd be happy to add that to his, credentials. And you can't really blame him because it's one of the hardest awards to win because there's just so many great players and so many dominant players in the league that it's hard to be the number one guy multiple times. And most of the people that won it the last couple of years have had trouble repeating winning it because the grind and the wear and tear of the regular season and injuries can happen anytime, that it just makes it harder to be able to get it multiple years in a row. But I think Shai, he has been able to stay healthy and he has been able to play at a high level and he has been able to show he can do it consistently. Now he just have to do similar things again, and that should be enough to get him back to the top and be a scoring champion again. And I think he'd be happy to get that done. And that should be one of his goals going into the season and at the end of the season. And why wouldn't it be? Comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell to get the analysis when it first come out. I do conversation video just like this about various NBA only topics. I also do breakdown with real footage of legends, current legends, rookies, and also future stars. I also do mock draft and draft coverage too. Not only that, I also have 3,000 plus videos already on my channel right now that you can watch and enjoy, and it's all for free. Not only that, I also try to upload videos each and every day to give y'all something to watch and give y'all something to look forward to. I love creating this type of content. You guys love watching it. You guys appreciate the content for what it is and continue to come back and support the channel to the best of y'all ability. I respect y'all for that. I love y'all for that. And I need y'all to continue to do that so this channel can stay one of the most successful channels on YouTube and on the internet. And I see it in real life too. And all I can say is thank y'all for that. And y'all made me who I am today, besides my experiences on this planet and things that I have went through and gone through. But I have seen that y'all always love what I do and have come back to me to get more content. All I can do is keep making it for the people that want it. And that's how I got to this point. Other than that, y'all stay blessed up. Y'all stay good. I'll see you guys later. And peace out. And, hopefully see y'all later.